Y'all ready for some sports?
A little bit.
Hope they're dressed appropriately. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Allen's New Sports, his unique fan-based view of sports, written and directed by the bald-headed black man. Rub his head and make a wish. This is the man the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. And here are his sports. Remember we told you to dress appropriately. Sports bras and jock straps, that's for everybody. Remember now, it's time. And here, Vic, everybody, sports! Yeah.
No, you went more in depth in that last segment, so you was prepared this week to really give them some little extra on that marijuana for dummies, man.
I've been putting it off because I hadn't got to the
That's what I figured, man.
I hadn't got to the dispenser.
Yeah,
I had to get up, the raid, I had to get out.
But you know what? Let me say this. Well, I keep saying this. I think, isn't that part of the reality of you? I think you, to me, would have said, I didn't do it this week. Versus waiting. Because I think the whole part of this is this going like you actually are going, I could chill.
Well, I told him. I told him, but making it and actually really getting it is always two different things.
Right.
It was the fact that I mentioned that I had yet to make that trip.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vic.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, I'm going to talk about the stuff that I'm following. I have to follow that weekend, that Final Four. Everybody was kind of in suspense because, let me be real about it. Everybody was looking at Loyola. Hey, are they going to get knocked? I didn't think they was going to make it past this Elite Eight. They did. But before I go there and get into what you already know, which is the Final Four, there's 3 Goliaths and then there's 1 Cinderella. Mario, you already covered this when they say, hey, look, sports does transcend bigger messages depending on the time and the place that you're in. And Greg Popovich is an interesting character because during the halftime or timeout interviews on court, he has very little to say. And he's kind of playing. And then all of a sudden, he gets into, I have to speak my piece on this. And then all of a sudden, he becomes the waterfall. So over the weekend, of course, March for Our Lives. The reports were how many people were attending. You see reports where they say, well, it was only 250,000. It wasn't as many as we expected. I said, this is the traditionalists looking at the numbers from the old traditional way. If you look at this map, there were similar protests globally.
That's
and
right.
their own
to
type.
support us in
So
Germany. Look at those.
So when you sit here and go
Nigeria.
Right. It's worldwide.
Australia.
As it relates that they said you were going to get similar or something along the line of the same support of it. And I say this, for all of you guys who's over a certain age, who wait for TV, who wait for the traditional, here's the report, and then you go read it online and say, well, they only got this many people. I said, you're in that old world. They don't care if they only had 100 people there. When you go look at this map, that changes your mind. So I wanted to jump on in there just first to say applause for them taking a stance on something that's very important, that they're directly trying to do an intervention with. The success is not necessarily for me to go, oh, if they don't do this, it's done. I said, I think you're getting an example of when the groundswell comes from young people, they're going to affect your margin line, politicians and everybody else. All right, you're going to see it. So Greg Popovich had to go there. He had to go like, you know what? I got to make a statement. So although you see the map, I have to quote what he said because he couldn't stand it. He said, all right, here he is. They got him. And this is only a small part of it. He says, how can the president of the country talk about all the things he's going to do and then go have lunch with the NRA and change it? It's just cowardice. A real leader would have been in Washington, D.C. this weekend, not at his penthouse at Mar-a-Lago. He would have had the decency to meet with a group to see what's going on and how important it is and how important our children should be to us. He not only not slammed Trump, he slammed also the politicians as they are all collectively silent on the bridge that connects them with Trump. So he's become this vehicle where he's going, my conscience won't let me not speak. And he's going to say in his voice. And look, and I say a few things that Trump is going to stay away from. He's going to stay away from youth, okay, because no matter how good you are, and they call you a marketing genius in your own right, and all the analytics and all the support that you have from these groups that do the things that they do, you can't compare to the cultural shift of the utilizers of all the frameworks of the internet and what it can do when these people rally up. You guys are so far behind, you don't have enough time. First of all, because you're giving speeches most of the time. So first, I applaud that. Second of all, Greg is on the other side because he's seen some things. And what makes it really interesting, he comes from a collective of basketball players that he's had what they call a cultural shift because some of his players are international as far as their culture and their diversity. They come from different places. So I appreciate that was my shout out to him to say, look, Greg is going to be speaking a lot more. And here's the thing, and I'm going to say this, Mario. Is he the biggest voice to you in professional sports as a coach standing up for something? Or is there another coach who even speaks louder than Greg across the landscape?
I'm trying to think of, right now I can't think of one.
Yeah, you can't.
Got to give it up to him because for him to show leadership in that area where other people, including people of color,
right,
are not saying what he says.
No, they're not saying it.
Right?
Right.
So let's give the man his due.
Right. And remember, just so you guys know, he always prefaces what his statement is about by he says, America still hasn't addressed its original sin. So he always lets you know that is the core of what's happened. And so I accept that. All right, let's go over to the Cinderella story, Loyola. And then how much, right off, let me just say this. They're going to the next round, man. Mario.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you know they're battling Michigan. Now,
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Michigan is no joke. When I say no joke, bigger, and they swarm. Would you prefer seeing the Cinderella, or would you want to see the usual suspects, the big Goliath universities? Do you want to see Loyola there?
For me, I like to see the best man win, and I don't root for trends. I mostly observe them. So the trend of the day, of the time, is big men who can move. I watched the special on Giannis, and Tito Cuompo. I hope I said it right.
Yeah, you did good, man.
And the March Madness, is a reminder of the same.
Right, it is.
Big men who are moving, better footwork.
Right.
Okay, but a bunch of big men who are way more agile.
Right. Yeah.
So that trend is coming, right? We see that. So big. No, I like to see. I have no input as to what I would like from the March Madness.
Right.
I mostly like what I get to experience.
Right.
And I'm a fan based on the fact that I get the unknown every year.
Right.
New stuff every year, excitement every year.
Right.
So we get to see. I'm mostly shocked when the big ones get upset, like Duke, other folks. You get upset,
right.
But I think right now you had a bunch. So of the top seeds,
you have two number ones. You got two number ones still remain. That's Kansas and Villanova, which everybody is saying that is really the championship.
In the other conferences, the top seeds
they're
knocked
gone.
out.
So you got a number 3 in Michigan and a number 11 in Loyola. Everybody's saying this. When you get the two number ones, the real game of Goliath, the best teams remaining, are the next game and not the championship, and that's Villanova and Kansas. So that's why the argument is, well, do Loyola need to be in there? So, well, one of them are going to knock each other off anyway. So who would you rather see? A number one going against Michigan or Loyola? And so the arguments become Michigan more so than Loyola, but people are going, well, if they deserve to be there, if they earn
my
it.
thing is that I don't care so much that you're number one. I care for the ones who've done the winning to get there.
That's right. That's all that matters.
If you're the underdog, I'm going to tend to go
Absolutely.
with them as opposed to, so I could care less about your seeding.
Right. I got you. All right. Check it out. I want to tell you guys about something. They interviewed the Michigan University basketball players and asked them, did they know about Sister Jean? And of course, no, they don't. They said, we just know that she's really old. That's it. Now,
98.
yes, 98.
That kind of qualifies. Of course, if you're just 90, that's only so old.
Right.
98 is really old.
It's up there. And so I want to give you just a little snapshot of Sister Jean Dolores Schmidt, 98-year-old chaplain for the Loyola Chicago men's team. She's part of a group of nuns who are really retired, But they represent it used to be 2,000 strong. And it's about 330. Stay on the campus of Loyola. And so here's a little background on it. There are only about 330 of the nuns, including Sister Jean, on the Loyola campus, and there are roughly 180 retirees living there. That's her home. Sister Jean Pierce points out that she was a teacher for many years in California before moving to Chicago in 1961 to teach and then serve as an administrator at Mundelein College, an all-women school founded and run by the BVM, of course, order. The college was known for its activists and its work to advance women's rights. Now, I'm not making fun of this. The picture that's in my mind is picturing Sister Jean in 1961 being on the court, and this team wins, and a whole bunch of black men are coming up to kiss her and hug her and everything. So the parallel is, would that be a different day and time? Now, Loyola did win their championship in '63. They do have a title. I'm just going, imagine what this woman has seen. So in 1961, let's just say 61, she was 40. Okay, so back it up even more. 28. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going backwards, and I'm going. Ask that woman.
They probably didn't kiss her then. So they didn't have nobody on the team.
Right.
See, there's only there's a certain point at which they know they didn't have black folks on the team, which at that time were not called black folks.
No.
They didn't have any Negroes.
No, you would Mario said Negroes.
I didn't become black till I was 13.
Hey,
so
look.
I was Negro from birth to 12.
No, look. I'm not looking at the kids and within them, because youth goes, hey, look, it ain't no big deal to us. From her perspective, from what she's seen and experienced, and I'm going 40 in 1960. So she was 20 in 1940. So she's seen some stuff that says, I remember there was a distinct barrier and line from, of course, African Americans being in sports, those who are allowed where to go socially, and now here she is being rewarded by having this motivation attached to her as Sister Jean. Okay, something that now is sticking with her at 98. So more praise to her, because it seems like there's some higher order that's taking place here. I know you guys are going to go off on it and say, what are you trying to say? I said, it's just ask Sister Jean. Okay, just ask her. All right, now let's get over to what we call the Final Four and who we think is going to be the best. And we're going to hit these picks real fast, Mario. Who we think is going to be the MVP, which means you are picking the team that you think is going to win. Let's go down the list real quick. The first we're going to is Jalen Brunson, right beneath. We can go and scroll up. Jalen Brunson, he's a guard, Villanova, hometown, Lincolnshire, Illinois. Next up, Devontae Graham, guard, hometown, Raleigh, North Carolina. Moritz Wagner, forward, 6'11", hometown, Berlin, Germany. Clayton Custer, 6'1" guard, Loyola, Chicago, Overland Park, Kansas. And we are dominated by guards. Mario, pick the player before you think of the team based on position. You got 3 guards and a forward. Who do you think? If you had to just go, and I didn't even give you stats.
Well, let me go from the back. I know, as much as I appreciate Wagner and what he's done.
He's been good.
He's been very good.
Yeah.
Not quite what I want consistently to be the lead person in this group, okay? I'm very impressed with Clayton Custer.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed. Even though he's a little guy, because he's guts. He's got guts and he's nonstop. Reminds me of John Stockton or
Right.
He is nonstop. A lot of and gut check and I'm just saying I like him.
Right.
So I like Wagner too, but still I got to put these guys above them.
Right.
At Kansas, Devontae Graham, he's doing a hell of a job too. Even though I think for me, and then going here, Jalen Brunson. Well, Villanova is the team I expect to win. But of this group, my favorite player, I think, is Custer.
So you going with the underdog?
Well, you know what? Maybe because there's biases built in because you can't watch every game.
Right.
You know, you could try.
Right.
But I keep seeing the Loyola, and I'm a believer.
Okay.
And then, of course, sister.
I knew you was going to go there.
Charles Barkley had to give it up.
Yeah. Look, and let me just say this, and just for me, at a moment in time when I'm literally sitting here going, if I had to pick the player, I pick the player who has the greatest leadership skills. I like Devontae Graham because of what he does athletically, but Jalen Brunson happens to be the floor general. Just how his awareness and what he does for his size, it's hard not picking him. He's hands down the best leader of the group based on what he does all around. I mean, literally you see it and you go, he's ready for the NBA. He doesn't have to jump over you. He just, his savviness of what he can do, I mean, literally can back you down and say, put somebody on me close to my size. I'm a lefty and I got some beef on me. He just knows how to manipulate you a different way. Whereas the other players are more like jump shooters and they tend to run to spots to get open a little bit maybe quicker. I like them. So I'm picking Jalen, which means I'm picking Villanova. But if I had to pick a team, I would like to see Loyola get there in the final, but it looks like Villanova, we both on the same page, man. So moving on real quick, man, I want to go to what I call trending up or down. And you tell me, Mario, is it trending up or trending down with you? It's really simple. You may have to refresh your page just in case. If not, I'll just go ahead and say the line and you just tell me if it's trending up or down. Former Seahawk and Philadelphia, Michael Bennett arrested. Okay. For an event that happened last year's Super Bowl.
Right.
Where he bumps into a paraplegic. Didn't knock him over. It was a woman, 67 years of age. And all they have is the claim. And Vegas is already on top of it. And the way the story is framed, he's guilty. Before they can actually say, can you show us proof? And did it really happen? Now, in the excitement, it's about him rushing on the field to congratulate his brother because New England Patriots won the Super Bowl. They're going, here's a year later. Are they framing this around a very outspoken man and saying, look, we're going to usher in a profile on you, even if you're innocent? Because if you did bump them, you still got problems.
The problem with this, and like most of the stories, we don't have enough information to make a decision, so everybody makes a decision based on their individual biases.
Right.
Which gets to the biases of America. He's a big black man, he's guilty. Period. That's the way America deals.
Yeah.
You know, I've said it before. It's just like the same way we managed to be able to capture and arrest every white mass murderer,
Right,
and take them into custody.
Right.
But if you black and selling cigarettes, an arrest means you die.
Right.
So that's just the way it goes. They kill black people.
Right.
They shot the kid. They shot him 20
times in Sacramento.
3, 4, 5,
Well, right.
6 times wasn't enough.
Wait a minute.
20.
And just to add to it.
So we're tired of this bullshit.
They conveniently, and I say this conveniently, had their videos or their...
Are you here? Well, one of the, turn it off. Yeah,
right. So literally, this is the part where the collective is saying...
You should be found guilty if your camera's off. How's that?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Hey, look, I'm only saying what I see as an obvious cover your ass.
We're suspicious that whenever it's a black person, they raise and have this new level of interaction and aggressiveness that, if you're black, they lead a new level of investigation, then name it after you.
Right.
It'll be the Bennett approach.
Right.
In a minute.
Right. Hey, look, I'm just hitting it the way it's coming. The next topic, ex-Major League Baseball star Albert Bell arrested for indecent exposure and DUI. If that's the case, he's former, he's ex. Does it matter, Mario? I mean, trending up or trending down?
It matters in the sense that it suggests to me a serious psychological moment. So if you have a moment in which it needs to be explained.
Right.
So either you were having a drug-related
Right.
psychotic episode,
Right.
or even worse for your health, I guess.
Yes, sir.
If it's not drug-related. If it's not drug-related, you just went crazy.
Right.
That has a bad prognosis.
Right.
And a bad prognosis if you don't have an inciting event.
Yeah.
So if you just start going, boom, here I am. Okay.
It's that. And if you guys want to see a history of some incidents happening with Albert, just go to the Wikipedia page. You'll see some things that are documented for you. I'm not going to cover all that. All right. That's going to probably be trending down. That right offhand. I think the Michael Bennett is going to trend up. And it's trending up.
Especially depending upon what the outcome of.
That's right. All right, next. This one is not going to trend at all, but I'm gonna give props to this person just by name. Montrezl Harrell, L.A. Clipper. And when I say this, bench, bully, hustle, muscle, ball. Do you guys remember Dennis Rodman? Yes. You're not going to see a picture of this guy. I'm just letting you know. I watched the game against Toronto Raptors yesterday. It's an away game with the Clippers. There's a night and day difference when bench players come in. Most of the time, and we discuss this when we talk about Lakers and everyone else, most of the time the people that usually want to come in want to show you they could shoot the ball. That's the first thing that they do. If you ever want to see a player, I watch DeAndre Jordan because he's athletically gifted, a rebounder, and he's not a scorer the way. Just go watch Montrezl Harrell. If you want to see an example, take the tape for all the new NBA players coming in, playing for his size. And if you want to see hustle all over the court and literally making a name for himself, I watch as the Clippers with their starting five look like they're in slow motion. When the bench comes in, it's another level, and then Montrez is wreaking havoc. Yes, do you trade off something because you need that go-to scorer? This man, probably only reason why he hasn't earned a starting position, because they need bench players. So if we ever want to see an example, I wish I could show you, watch this guy play. This is one of those rare times where you go, he is wreaking havoc. He wants to disrupt you, and I like it. So that's for me, it's trending up. For everybody else, it may not be. All right, let's go to Shalom Ifeanyi. I'm not sure how she pronounces her name. I'll say Shalom, because she is the university volleyball, what we call booted off the team by a coach because of her Instagram posting. And you only got a couple of pictures. You don't get to see what you want to see. She is beautiful. She is attractive. And she's taking the university and some other people, of course, to court. Now, it's simply saying that she has filed a lawsuit against the University of Cincinnati, Coach Molly Alvey, and Executive Senior Assistant Athletic Director Maggie McKinley. And her argument is, how come the other players get to show being bikini wear and y'all don't say anything?
They're going to lose. University's going to lose. And imagine they're
ridiculous.
Recruiting.
Right.
Imagine this coach trying to recruit.
Stupid.
It's really stupid.
It's
really
stupid.
Unfortunate. Wow. And so, they're going to lose, in fact. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see the university step in.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now the University of Cincinnati is enjoying a kind of a good streak in terms of recognition in sports.
Yep.
And so they kind of probably don't want this. They probably want to expand their areas of which they get acknowledged. So this is a bad one. Coach Molly. And you know what? From what I understand, the way it looked even from the other reports is that she had been injured. So they've had some issues with her anyway. And it looks like that's part of the ongoing thing.
Yeah, I understand. Look, it may be other stories behind this. But I wonder if what she's saying is what she believes or what they reported. And so I'm not sure what they reported. Yeah.
The universe, this looks bad for universities. And then, like I said, they have to then go out and recruit.
Right.
And in today's heightened world of increased racial sensitivity,
right.
All you got to do is have the black folk get the impression that it ain't worth going there.
And it's done.
And it's done.
It's done.
Done.
It's done. All right. Hey, I just want to cover that in my sports. That was it. Quick and the dirty. You guys just keep hanging in there. I'll try to keep it simple. I'm out, man.
Victor Allen's New Sports recurring segment of the Morning Coffee with Mario show. Here, every Monday as part of the festivities, get Victor Allen's unique fan-based view of sports. And remember, we say to dress appropriately, sports bras and jock straps, and that's for everybody. And like to be uniform. Be good. Hot picks. Yeah. Yeah.